Hi, KFK's Cutz here. I make machine embroidery stitch-alongs to help people unlock the full potential of their embroidery machines. I was approached by Simthread, who asked me if I'd like to do an independent review of their 2020 product. So I said, sure, send it to me, which they have. And this is what I received. And let's see what we've got inside. Well, I'll say one thing, the box is nice and sturdy. Inside you get a colour chart of Simthread's 63 colours, and that's their brother colours. You get 100 sheets of their Tearaway Stabilizer. And inside we have got 42 threads, 2 of which are pastels. So we'll have a look at those in a little bit. They're 40 weight threads, and these spools are 550 yards, which is 500 meters. So you get a good selection there by the looks of it. Let's get the colors out. So you've got dark green, grey, black, a flesh colour, beige. There's lots and lots of different colours here, so it's ideal if you're just getting started, or if you want to give this as a gift to somebody, because it's a nice presentation box as well. So these are all the colours that we've got, and I'm going to get them all out so that you can see. And it appears that you get a really good range here. You could certainly get started stitching out pretty much anything, really. Okay, I'm nearly there. So, oops. There's certainly a good variety of thread colours. So that's all the different colours that you get. Oh, there's one more there hidden. Also in this box, I've just found some thread nets, which is a nice touch. And they will stop your threads from coming unravelled once you've opened them. So I would cut these in half, and you get 2 out of 1, and you get a fair few there. So if you've never used thread nets before, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. You also get, let me just move those over, you also get 2 pre-wound bobbins, a black and a white, and you get some empty bobbins as well. I would suggest that you check the size that your machine uses before you put them in, though, just to make sure. So that is what you get with regards to the threads and stabilizer and the bits and bobs that they sent you as extras. I'm going to put these back in the box for a minute, and then I'm going to show you what they've done with the actual presentation box, which I think is quite cool. The box is in 3 parts itself, so that you can build 2 tiers of thread, and you get these divider sections in cardboard, and you've got 2 like this one, and you've got 8 with just 1 slot cut in them, and you can then build your thread box so that it's all nice and organised. And then the larger section goes on top of that, and then you build the same inside this one. and then you can load it with your threads. Well, that's all the threads put away in the box. If I could make one suggestion about this box, it would be that it was 2 centimeters wider, simply because it would allow for all the threads to be stored up the right way rather than having to have one upside down if you wanted to put 3 in each compartment. So yeah, that's pretty neat, I think, and certainly for somebody who hasn't got a lot of threads, it's a good way of storing them while you get started. Let's talk about the Tearaway Stabilizer for a few minutes. It's a cotton tearaway, which means that it's got cotton fibres throughout, giving it strength. It's cut to 8 by 8, which is 200 by 200, and you get 100 sheets of that. Now, stabilizer is the be all and end all of your embroidery. If your stabilizer fails, your whole stitch out fails. So it's not an area that you can skimp on. It will fit a 4x4 hoop, no problem at all. So 4x4 and below. It won't take anything bigger than that. So we now come to the threads and the bobbin. I'm going to use the black pre-wound bobbin for this design, along with colour number 707, which is the dark grey, and colour 620, which is magenta. The design I'm going to stitch out for this test has got lots of bean stitch and satin stitch, so I think it would be a really good test for both stabilizer and thread alike. So I'm now going to load my bobbin and thread into my machine, and then we'll get stitching. So we're going to hoop the stabilizer, and because it is paper, I'm using 2 sheets. I wouldn't feel comfortable using one because I know from past experience that with tearaway stabilizers, they do tear. So I'm using 2 sheets and I'm going to hoop them. Okay, so that's now ready for me to embroider. This is going to be a stitch through rather than a stitch along, so that you can see it all stitching out, but I won't be given any specific instructions. So that's the first colour stitch, and let's have a look at the back. It's nice and clean, and there's no tears or wear on the stabilizer. So I'm now going to stitch the second colour, which is the dark grey. A big test for Tearaway Stabilizer is anything with satin stitch, so I'm going to really put this to the test. So that's all stitched, and I'm sure you'll agree that's absolutely wicked. And the back, it's held up. So I'm pretty impressed with that actually, because I've never been a fan of Tearaway Stabilizer. I tend to use it as little as possible, but just because it tears, but this stuff seems pretty reasonable actually. I'm quite happy with that. I'm just going to add the backing to this and finish off. So there's a finished coaster. Both the thread and the stabilizer held up very well. There was no thread breaks and no tearing of the stabilizer, so I'm very happy about that. And I'm happy to recommend this to anybody else who might want to try it. All the links are in the video description below so that you can do just that. Happy stitching!